Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. We're back to Monday. Another week ahead of us. It has been a busy and crazy several days for me. So Thursday, we canceled the stream. It was my birthday and I had a bunch of appointments to go to. So the morning, we did a health screening for our insurance. It's required. And so you go online and you fill out their stuff and schedule the appointment. So Thursday morning, we headed down there. Wife went in first, came out, and then I went in and they're like, "Where's your paperwork?" I'm like, "They didn't give me any paperwork." And they're like, "Well, you have no registration in the system. You're going to have to come back with paperwork." I was kind of pissed. So went back home, back on the computer, trying to find some kind of registration form. Wife called customer service or whatever, and they're like, "I don't understand why they want paper. It should be on the computer." So she emails me a registration form that had all my info on it, and I tried to print it out, but apparently I didn't have any black ink, because when it printed out everything, but all the text that's supposed to be in the boxes wasn't there. It was blank. And so headed back down to the office to get the assessment done, and checked back in, and then they called me right back. And so I'm like, I don't know what changed. Apparently somebody wasn't doing their job. Then they checked my blood pressure, and they're like, "Your blood pressure usually high?" Only when things stress me out. So yeah, that was kind of high. And then they, draw blood, and she had to stick me twice. She's like, "Have you drank anything today?" I hadn't drank anything since yesterday. This was like after 9 o'clock. So probably a little dehydrated or whatever. Get through that, and we went to breakfast, which was pretty nice. And then we had an ultrasound appointment, so I got to see the baby again. And then there was just a follow-up checkup thing. And so the rest of the night wasn't too bad. I got my birthday cake, and then the dog ate the birthday candles. I guess it tasted like cake. Let's see. Friday, I spent pretty much the entire day cleaning the house. And changed some light bulbs and, the ceiling lights and the fans. Then, it's always fun when you got different kinds of light bulbs, So, kitchen, living room, it took the normal size light bulb. But the fans in the bedroom, they take the smaller thing. So I got to get some smaller light bulbs. That was kind of a pain in the butt. Cut the grass. I mean, I did a lot of stuff Friday. Saturday, I worked the weekends, 12-hour shifts. And Saturday, I'm technically not supposed to talk about this, I guess, but I don't think they're going to know. So, went to work. It was a quiet day, didn't have a whole lot going on. And we have a person who usually, sits at the front desk and answers phones, and, if I have any issues, I'm supposed to communicate with them over the radio. White coat syndrome. When you go to the doctor, the stress raises. Well, I was extremely stressed about them saying I had to have paperwork, and I didn't have any paperwork, and how I was going to get paperwork. And, as it was, I basically missed my appointment because they didn't have their shit together. Wasn't my fault, it was their fault. Although they won't admit it. So anyways, Saturday, I was talking with the person at the front desk, who just happened to be a woman. I don't think they have any guys working the front desk, which, you know, if you ask me, is kind of sexist, but, you know, whatever. Your relationship with the VA, yeah, that's pretty much all medical offices nowadays, right? So we had talked about just odds and ends. I mean, there was nothing going on. It was boring. You talked to your coworkers to help speed up time, right? And being friendly. You know, she mentioned she was tired and wanted some caffeine. So I said, hey, why don't you go downstairs and get you some coffee? I'll watch the desk for you. And we talked about a few things. She talked about wanting to be a veterinarian at one point and talked about being a detective at one point. And I kind of just mentioned, well, there was a point in my life I was actually interested in that as well. But as far as veterinary, I'm not good when it comes to like surgical things. You know, I don't know if you remember the TV show ER, but you know, they would cut into people's chests to try to save their lives. You know, I had to look away. I couldn't handle stuff like that. So, like, it's probably not the best career to get into. As far as being a detective, I wanted to go after kidnappers, rapists, child molesters. I wanted to get them off the street because I feel passionately about that. And so I was considering going into law enforcement at one time. But then I had the thought come to my mind, I'm alone with this person. I know 100% that he committed the crime. I know that he's going to go to jail if convicted, and then he's going to get out in a matter of a few years or so. He's going to go do it again. Whereas people he victimized, they're going to suffer for the rest of their lives. Could I stop myself from taking his life? And I wasn't sure if I could. I didn't want to get put in that position. So I decided, okay, that's probably not a good career to go into either. And even today, I work in security, but I don't carry a gun. I'm not that kind of an officer. I don't want that responsibility. So then I decided to get into counseling. I'm like, okay, well, let's try, you know, finding a way to help people overcome their suffering. And so I went to community college, 2-year degree. Of course, you can't actually do any kind of counseling until you got like higher degrees or whatever. But I was coming close to graduating. I went to had a co-op at or internship, whatever you want to call it. At there was a domestic violence office in town, and of course they had a shelter, but for obvious reasons, you know, I couldn't intern at the actual shelter. Plus, I wasn't a counselor, so. And you know, they just kind of advised me that 10-to-1, you know, domestic violence survivors probably are not going to want to talk to a guy, and you know, I definitely took that under consideration. I was there, and a woman came in with a black eye, wanting to file protection papers against her boyfriend. You know, and they made sure that she understood that those papers aren't actually going to protect her. It's just going to give them something to charge him with. If anything, it might actually make him more mad. Because the police are not going to sit there and act like bodyguards. They're not going to stay at your house and protect you until your boyfriend does whatever, right? They repossessed her car right in front of the office. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they don't care because it's a money thing. So I did graduate. I did get my associate degree because I might as well. I'm almost done. But I decided I didn't want to have to deal with that every day. Trying to help people, and either they choose not to accept the help, or somebody else makes it even more difficult for them. and I can't do nothing about it. You know, it can be very stressful when you try to help somebody and you can't. So for two reasons I didn't continue down that career path was, one, not being able to handle the situation. Two, I needed higher education anyways, which is more time, more money, and I am not an academic person at all. So then I started thinking, okay, well, what else can I do? What do I enjoy doing? So I was like, okay, well, you know, I like doing martial arts. I like teaching martial arts. And it, you know, I always wanted to pass down what I was taught. You know, it's like legacy. You know, you pass something down and they pass something down and so forth. And I was like, well, you know, maybe I could teach people to defend themselves. That way, if somebody does attack them, at least they have a chance. So then I started taking some business classes. And I never graduated with a business degree. You don't particularly need a business degree to start a business. You just need a lot of money, to be honest with you. And that was always the holdup, is the money. You got to have money for rent. You got to have money for utilities. You got to have money for insurance. You got to have money for equipment, et cetera, et cetera. You know, a small business owner, people don't always think about it, but they have two sets of bills. They got their personal bills at home, and then they got their business bills. And they got to make sure that they make enough money to cover both. And the hardest part for any business owner is to get started because you don't have any money. And most banks, they want you to have money. They want you to have assets and collateral, basically. And so it's very difficult to get a business started. So anyways, I had this conversation with her. We were talking about that. And, you know, I'd go make rounds and I'd come back around and we, you know, talk a little bit more. But it was, you know, it was a really quiet day. And so I came back around and then I started talking about problems with social media. And any of you who've been on social media, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a lot of inappropriate stuff on social media, and it's becoming a normal thing. It's becoming accepted. You got it's mostly women. I haven't really seen too many guys doing this, but you got women staring at a camera, smiling, and then trying to redirect you to their OnlyFans page. So, like, their TikTok is an advertisement, basically. Probably a good thing you haven't been on social media for years. You're not missing nothing. And even Twitter, which, you know, is no longer Twitter, you can actually post inappropriate pictures. It's not against their policies. And you got children on there. You got children on TikTok. And then I was concerned, how do we know we don't have teenagers on OnlyFans? And so I just mentioned these concerns with her and, you know, expressed my concern and distaste for it and how I think people do strange things. You know, I mentioned there's people doing strange things like selling pictures of their feet. That's a thing, apparently. I've seen people selling dirty bathwater, selling bottles of farts. Heck, I even saw somebody claim that they, you know, put spirits in bottles and was selling them on eBay. This was several years ago. And then when they, you know, caught her in a scam, she said, "Oh, I'm going to, you know, give the money to charity." So I expressed all these bad things and my concern for our children being exposed to it. And that was the extent of the conversation on that particular subject. Went about my job, you know. So she, you know, she got off work, she left. I'm still there because, you know, I work 12 hours. And then I get a call from my supervisor to meet him in the office. He made a complaint against me for sexual harassment. I'm like, really? So they're doing an investigation this week. And at some point, because classes also started today, they're going to let me know whether or not I have my job or not. And, you know, he asked me questions, you know, wanted my side of the story, obviously, and wanted to make sure that I told the truth, because if I lied, that would be instant termination. Why would I lie? I didn't do anything wrong. And so I explained my story. I said what I said to him, and, you know, he said it's just about exactly what she had said. And he said that they're going to do an investigation. They're going to talk about it with HR, and they'll basically let me know if I have my job or not, and that I might have legal issues. And I'm like, I didn't commit a crime. Why would I have legal issues? It is not sexual harassment to say bad things that are happening on the internet. At no point did I make any verbal or physical advances towards her. I never even gave her a compliment, which compliments are not sexual harassment unless it's continual and she says no. Because that's the only way you know things are unwanted, is if somebody says no. Or some word that is like saying no. Okay? At no point did she say she was uncomfortable with the conversation. At no point did she say that she was offended. She didn't say nothing. Matter of fact, she agreed with several things. Okay, and so, you know, I looked up the definition of sexual harassment. I actually have it bookmarked on my computer and my phone, so that when they call me and potentially tell me I'm fired, and then I can, you know, let them know that it's false termination, and that I'm going to be in contact with a lawyer, you know, because you can sue your boss for false termination. Let me read it to you. Let me read it to you. This is the frustration I'm dealing with this week, because I also have the concern. I know I didn't commit any crime. I know I didn't do anything wrong, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay? Because people try to stretch things as it is. So I'm like, I'm here with my kids. I don't know if I'm going to have police come knocking on my door, and then they try to arrest me and put my kids in the system, because they've done stuff like that before. I might have shared stories of police knocking a door down with riot shields because a child had a fever. Okay? So nowadays, you never know what they're going to do. I'm going to pull up this bookmarked website. All right, this comes from a lawyer here in North Carolina, but there's other sources I've seen that said basically similar things. All right, so this says, according to, wait a minute. All right, they give you, like, bullets or whatever. Sexual harassment occurs when there are unwelcome sexual comments, behaviors, requests for favors, or sexualized physical contact. And an individual feels pressured to allow the advances to remain employed. Employees who don't submit to such advances, you know, that's more like a supervisor to employee kind of thing. All right, so what is sexual harassment? Repeatedly hitting on a coworker or persistently asking for a date, even when you've been turned down or the coworker has asked you to stop. Never happened. Making compliments that most people would consider inappropriate. Complimenting a coworker on her earrings is not sexual harassment, but complimenting her on her private parts, we'll say, is. Further, making any comments on a person's appearance can be considered sexual harassment if you've been asked to stop. Never happened. Never gave her a compliment either. Creating a demeaning or hostile work environment by hanging lewd pictures of women, etc., etc. Never happened. Sexually touching a coworker against his or her will. This behavior includes everything from patting a coworker on the behind to rape and assault. Never happened. Never even put my hands on her. Never even shook her hand. Demanding sex or favors from an employee and promising rewards or threatening punishments. Never happened. Asking inappropriate questions about a worker's private or sex life, persistently asking about coworkers' dates, etc. Never happened. Making sexually suggestive sounds or gestures. Never happened. Stalking. Never happened. Sexual slurs. Never happened. What behavior isn't sexual harassment? Dating a coworker. Having sex with a coworker. Engaging in flirtatious banter with a coworker as long as the behavior is consensual and is not directed at a third party. It's not harassment. Paying a compliment to a coworker if the compliment is the sort of compliment you'd give to a stranger in which you have no reason to believe the other person would find objectable. Making small talk about private or personal lives. Sharing details of your sex life with a workplace friend who asks for the details with whom you feel comfortable discussing. Those were the reasons that are not sexual harassment. Okay? So at no point did anything I say remotely even come close to sexual harassment. The only thing they can say I did wrong was stand there and talk too much. That's basically it. I asked her what she was having for lunch. Not because I was interested in going to lunch with her. Obviously, she was leaving and I was still going to be working. Just small talk. Hey, what you having for lunch? She said she was going to go home. I said, hey, I understand that. I'm having homemade leftover lasagna my wife made for me on my birthday. I have talked about my wife to her several times. So why would you think that I have any interest in you? That's the other thing. You can't really sexually harass somebody if you have no interest or attraction in the other person. And then, see, this is the other issue that my job's got to be very careful about. But, you know, it's also kind of a difficult situation. And I'm going to have to find a good lawyer if they do this. One of the things that they asked me when my supervisor was, I don't know if you want to call it interrogating me. It wasn't really interrogation, but wanted my side of the story. Did you know how old she was? Well, first of all, I'm thinking, what does that have to do with anything? I'm like, well, I don't know how old she was, but I figured she was an adult since she's working here. She's 19. And he's like, how old are you? And I'm like, I just turned 39. So now they're probably, one of their considerations is going to be how she's an innocent 19-year-old and I'm a creepy, dirty 39-year-old man with a mustache. Okay? Stereotypes. All right? They better not use that in their decision-making because then that would be called sexism and ageism, which is another reason for a lawsuit. Just because she's a 19-year-old doesn't mean she's innocent. Doesn't mean she's a perfect little angel. She is a adult, period. I don't care if she's only been an adult for 2 years. Doesn't matter. She's an adult. End of discussion. And I would have said the same things if it was an older woman or a man. In which then I can question, how come they don't have any men people working the front desk? Are they purposely hiring only women? So I'm you know how it is whenever you're accused of something and you don't know what's going to happen, you sit here and then you start thinking, what's going to happen. You start imagining things. You start trying to prepare yourself for the worst, right? Which is very stressful and anxious, makes you anxious, because like I said, I'm here with my kids. I don't have anybody to watch my kids. What happens if the police come to my door? I don't want CPS taking my kids because I've seen cases where they get lost in the system You know, my wife's at work. She's going to be at work until 3, 4 o'clock. So I have that concern, you know, and then there's, you know, there's been cases I've seen live videos, or well, not live videos, but videos of police responding to, it could be a pathetic call. And because there's a dog barking at them, they shoot and kill the dog, saying the dog was vicious. And I'm sorry, my dog is part of my family. You murder my dog, you're next. That's how I feel. Okay? I will protect my family, including my dog. I don't care if you're a police officer. Because unless that dog actually was charging you, trying to bite you, you are a murderer. Okay? Period. End of discussion on that. You ain't going to kill my dog. So I'm just sitting here waiting for, I'm assuming it's going to be a phone call. I don't think it's going to be an email. I'm sure they might send a letter in the mail. And so hopefully they'll call and say, hey, you know, conversation might not have been appropriate, but it's not sexual harassment, you know, and hopefully they will just say, hey, future, don't hang out at the desk. Don't talk to the people at the desk. I'll be like, gladly. And then I'm going to, you know, say to my supervisor, you know, this is a very awkward situation. It probably would be best if me and her don't work together. So possibly, you know, make sure the schedules don't have us working together. If she has to work a Saturday, then I'll gladly take the day off, because I'm not going to deal with constantly worrying about false allegations. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this world, male, female, that like to make false allegations, either because they're ignorant and they don't know the difference, or they're trying to get something. Attention, money, whatever. If he tells me I'm fired, then I'm going to ask a series of questions. I'm like, okay, do I have to worry about police coming to my door? First off, I want a heads up if I'm going to have police coming for me. That way I can get somebody to watch my kids. 2, I'm going to be like, what was the official reason for my termination? Was sexual harassment the official reason of termination? Is it documented? Am I going to get a copy? If it says yes, okay. I'm going to let you know my lawyer is going to get that paperwork. And there will be a lawsuit for false termination. And if she pursues, you know, legal issues, then I will sue her as well for false allegations. Maybe I'll get to pay my house off. The way I see it. So hopefully they'll do the right thing and not make judgments based off of stereotypes, sexism, ageism. Just because I'm an older guy does not make me a pervert or a creep. Just because she's a young girl does not make her an innocent victim. Matter of fact, I'm a little bit offended. You know, and so, you know, a lot of people are offended nowadays. Okay. And it's a big thing, you know, if somebody's offended. When I was growing up, we were taught sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. And they don't. What happens when you're offended? Nothing. Just get over it and move on. You're not hurt. Just move on. You don't have to talk to the person. Stay away from the person. But in this, they make a big to-do about it, and they want to do legal stuff and lawsuits and all this stuff over being offended. But it only seems to work for certain individuals. You know, if she says she's offended, they bend over backwards for her. If I say I'm offended, they tell me to get over it. What? You could be offended that somebody's offended. See how silly that whole topic is? The whole offended thing? You can be offended about anything. I'm offended about paying taxes. I still got to pay taxes, don't I? So I don't know. I think maybe my headset has like a timer on it, and after a while it shuts off. I mean, I'm talking into it so I can hear myself, but that's not the mic that I'm using for y'all. The mic's down here. Otherwise, it's all muffled. So I guess maybe if there's not music or something coming through it, it eventually turns off. I mean, I got it plugged in right here, charging. Technology. I don't fully understand technology. I guess I'm not from that generation. I'm that in between of Generation X and Millennial, 1984. Most of me was raised more of Generation X, but part of me does have that Millennial. Then you got whatever the new generation's called nowadays. I don't know. I remember, Walkmans, cassette tapes. I have tons of cassette tapes. I think a lot of them might be at my dad's house, but I got tons of cassette tapes. I had Walkman, stereo. Heck, when I was a kid, we actually had record player too. We'd play records or vinyl, whatever you want to call it. Never had 8-track. My parents did. I didn't. Generation Z is after millennial. Where did they come up with names? It's like what's going to be next? What's after Generation Z? I mean, it would make more sense if you go Generation A, B, C, D. That would make some kind of sense. It's in a series, but you got Generation X, Millennials, and then Generation Z. Well, where's Y? Millennials were supposed to be Y. Ever used a spreadsheet after Z comes AA? That's right. Generation AA. Alcoholics Anonymous. We're all Generation AA will be alcoholics. Oh yeah, we use spreadsheets. Everything. You want a database? Use a spreadsheet. People would use Excel instead of Access for database because it was easier to manage. Generation DD. I don't. It's a mess. The world mess. But I learned something Saturday. Don't talk to people because it can get you in trouble. Even if you did nothing wrong, you can still get in trouble for talking to people. So it's like limit as much conversation with people, especially at work, as you can, which is sad, because people will have the attitude, you should have been working instead of talking. Well, this was my attitude. I was working while I was talking. Okay? While I was standing there, nobody bothered her. Okay? Making sure she's safe. I'm making sure the building that I'm standing in is safe. I have quite a view of the entire building the way it's laid out. I can look out the front windows and see everything that's going on out front. If somebody comes in, I'm available to assist them with whatever it is, emergency or non-emergency, which I did. There was a mom and her daughter came in. They were, trying to find their classes for Monday, which is today. And so I pointed them in the right, location, showed them where they were going to be going. But I was like, I'm sorry, we're about to close, so I can't, allow you to walk around. So I was available to help people. Now, this particular person who's making false allegations from me, I've only worked with her twice. She has, told me she's not a morning person, and so she's not very talkative. And I said, I understand. My wife is an introvert. Once again, I've expressed interest in my wife. I have not expressed any interest in her. Okay? So she's definitely not a people's person, and she's working a front desk where she really needs to be a people person and talk to people. She's supposed to sign into a system on the computer and put a headset on and answer the phone. She didn't do that Saturday. She just picked it up occasionally. And then at one point, and this is, I don't know exactly what she was doing when I wasn't standing there. So I can't really say one way or the other. It's just a suspicion. I'm not saying she's not doing her job. It's more of a suspicion that she wasn't doing her job. But I got a call on our security cell phone. Somebody had issues logging into their account and needed assistance. And I'm like, well, there's nobody working here on the weekend that can help you. You're going to have to call back on Monday. She should have got that call. But that phone is set up to forward to that cell phone if nobody answers it. So, like, when she leaves work and I'm still there, if somebody calls the phone needing assistance, it will forward to the cell phone. It's supposed to be for security, emergency kind of situations. So, I don't know if maybe she was on the other line and it forwarded, or she just chose not to pick up the phone. You never know with phone operators, to be honest with you, because this morning I discovered my wife left her cell phone at home. So I called her job to try to see if she wanted me to bring it to her. And, we could kind of guess a time to meet and hand it over, because I can't just walk into her job. And so I talked to the operator. Operator, forwarded me to the phone where she works, and nobody answered. And then she tried paging her, and she couldn't get a hold of her. So she's like, well, we'll try calling back a little bit after 8. I'm like, okay. I called back after 8, and a woman answered. She said, hold on. And I was on hold. It played the stupid music. It was extremely loud in my ear. And then it hung up. So then I called back, went through the same prompts, rung a little bit, hung up. So people, when they don't want to answer the phone, what do? Click. They hang up, because, in office buildings, you still have landlines. Sometimes those landlines are kind of plugged into the computer and the internet. So if you don't have power, you don't have phones, basically. But they'll still pick up the thing and then put it down. So I'm like, okay, well, I tried. I'm not going to keep calling, trying to get a hold of my wife. She might come here on break and try to pick up her phone. I'm sure she's kind of frustrated. So phone operators can be kind of fun. They usually don't wait to say bye either. Like I've known several phone operators, been friends with several phone operators, and I'll talk to them on the phone. Like I have one friend where I used to live. She's a phone operator, and we've talked on the phone as friends, not as professional. And when it comes time to say goodbye, I'm like bye, and she just hangs up. She doesn't say bye because she's so used to transferring calls and not saying goodbye. Which is a standard practice when you're talking on the phone. I mean, at least that's how I was taught. Hello, goodbye. How do I know you actually, hung up if you don't say goodbye? You might have just been disconnected. Maybe you didn't hear anything I said at all, So it's a good confirmation, like, yeah, I hear you. We're ending the conversation. So, yeah. I don't know what kind of place your wife works, but is there a possibility of getting due to their security department and arranging to drop it off for her through them? She works in a lab. She works at LabCorp. I don't know if you're familiar with LabCorp. I'm not sure how far LabCorp extends in the U.S. I know it's pretty big in North Carolina. Their security department ain't worth a shit. When I first moved up here, before taking the job I did, I applied to their security as well. Hey, convenient. Work the same place as my wife does, They're contract security, whereas where I'm working now, we're directly hired by the college. and they might have one or two people working this huge lab. Okay, there was one night I came when my wife and I was dating, and I came up here, and I was going to pick her up after work, and basically stay the weekend. But it had snowed, and there was like ice everywhere. And I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting, and a woman, an employee, she was parked next to where I was parked. She gets out of her vehicle and she slips and she falls. And so I had my window down. I said, "Are you okay? Can I help you?" She's like, "I'm okay." And I started looking around for security. There wasn't any. I'm like, "Where in the world is security?" So my wife gets off work, and we decided that we were going to run to Walmart and get some things. House she was living in at the time didn't have any power either. We ended up staying at a friend's house who had power. But we went to Walmart. I'll be damned, security was at Walmart shopping. And from what she told me, he was the supervisor. So there was no security on their property while there was ice and people were slipping and falling, but he's shopping. I was imagining a bit larger security force in the lab with guard posts and patrol routes. I mean, you would think. I'm sure they probably have some kind of patrol routes. They usually do at places like that, factories, and you got the little pipe and you got to go hit the buttons and stupid shit like that. But no, I've never seen a bunch of officers there. One or two. That was kind of it. And it's a money thing. In my experience, I've worked in security for like 16, 17 years, mostly in contract security. This, where I'm working now, is like the one time where it's a direct hire. And it's all about the money. And the main reason why people hire security for their businesses or whatever is not actually to make you safe, not to protect the clients and the employees and the employers and the property. That's like towards the bottom as far as reasons go. It's for insurance purposes and it's for liability purposes. Okay. A lot of insurance companies might actually require them to have some form of security. Okay. And then there's liability. Okay. So I'm a boss. I make a decision. I want this done. I want the security force to carry it out. Well, something bad happens because of my decision. I use the security officers as a scapegoat. I blame it on them. They get fired. I just have somebody else rehired take their place. I've seen it numerously. It happens all the time. And with contract security, it's a little iffy. Because I've encountered this in a previous job. You work for a client. It's a contract, okay? I don't work for the client. I'm not employed by the client. I work with him via a contract, okay? I still technically work for the company, okay? So the client's not exactly the boss, but they are the boss in a sense. It's kind of confusing, okay? So basically, when it comes to the services we provide them, they can boss us around. But when it comes to the procedures of the company, they really can't boss us around. So they can't really say what hours, they can't determine the schedule that we work. They can say we want these hours covered, but they can't determine what officer's working what and so forth. Not technically, okay? They can't decide what rank people are at. They can't promote people. That's a company thing, okay? And I worked for a company, and I don't mind saying their name because it's like a review. I'm reviewing the company. Don't work for them. They don't care about you, okay? United Security Associates? Something like that. I'd have to look again. But anyways, don't work for that company. They don't care about you. They gave the client full control over their employees. They controlled what officer worked what shift, how many hours, what their promotion was. Okay? Even their pay rate. Now, I know pay rate can be part of the contract, but ultimately the company should decide what officer gets paid what. They pretty much gave full control to the client, which created some problems. But basically what I wanted to, the point I wanted to get at is working as a contractor, at least in security, the client can say, we don't want that person working here. It doesn't even matter what the reason is. They don't really have to have a reason at all. They can say, I don't want that officer working here. You need to remove him and put somebody else in. Okay, so then what do? Well, they want the money, right? That they're getting from the client. So they remove that officer from that location. You're no longer on the schedule there, but you're not fired. No, instead, we have these other locations available to you. You can work over here. Except the issue that we had was some of our officers that had to deal with that particular situation, the job was over an hour away and made no sense for us to drive there. So you lost your job, but you didn't lose your job. It's like, how do you deal with that? You know, you weren't fired. You didn't quit. You're in limbo, is basically what you are. Now, how does that work with unemployment? I'm not 100% sure. I've had officers working part-time collecting unemployment. But you're not unemployed, you're working. But as long as you don't work this certain number of hours, you can still collect unemployment. That doesn't make sense to me either. Maybe that's what we should all do. Only work a few hours and collect unemployment. That way you're getting 2 paychecks in a sense. And not working that much. I mean, you still have to deal with the headache of standing in line at the unemployment office, right? Or some states, you know, it might be all online now. You might not have to stand in line anymore. These days, most of it could be done with cameras and AI with 1 or 2 guys just to monitor and respond. That's true. That's true. And surely they could probably cut back on money. You know, you don't have to pay cameras. You don't have to pay AI. I work on the weekend. When I first started working, there was a bunch of classes there on the weekend. Mostly Saturdays. Occasionally we had 1 or 2 on Sundays. And then over the years, the number of classes have dropped majorly. I pretty much, you know, the number of classes you can count on one hand, and it might not always be 5. It might be less. So in a sense, especially during summer, you know, you could probably do one officer, which they only have 1 officer work on the weekends anyways. You could do 1 officer and cameras. Sundays, sometimes I'm the only person there on Sundays for 12 hours. Let me tell you, it's a long day. Especially when they don't want to turn the air conditioner on for you. So on days like that, technically, they could maybe put an officer on call, give them access to the security cameras, and maybe request that a police officer, whenever they're driving by, just drive through campus. They could technically do that and save some money. Of course, that would, you know, cut into my finances. That's the main issue with doing that, is you will be increasing unemployment. People need jobs. It's kind of funny how they talk about wanting to create jobs to reduce unemployment, but then they do everything in their power to increase unemployment, like lay people off, or the AI thing. Problem with AI is, well, AI has bugs, you know. It has problems, and you got to have a person to maintain that. What happens if somebody hacks into the AI? There was a case where they had a robot police officer that they were using for security. I saw this on social media. You see all kinds of crazy stuff on social media. He was a robot. He had like a light, no arms, wheels for, movement or whatever. And so I don't know exactly how it functioned. I'm assuming it had like a voice telling you not to do this or something like that. They later found him in a river. So I also saw a video of apparently in some city they had a robot that was delivering food. Okay, so instead of hiring a delivery person, they had a robot which was like a cart with wheels, okay, and had lights and stuff. And it would drive down the sidewalk to deliver food. Well, what happened? Well, people robbed it. They knocked it over and took the food. And it, like, knocked over. It can't go nowhere. So, robots is not necessarily a good idea. You might be saving some money, maybe, but you're going to get robbed. People aren't going to take the robot seriously. So what do? You do RoboCop and Terminator and then eliminate the entire human race? Sure. AI is taking our jobs. They took our jobs. You think corporations are worried about hackers? From all the data breaches, say the answer is no. And maybe in some cases they are the hackers. There's been cases of corporate people embezzling from themselves, and I mean, until they get caught, right? But if you're a hacker or you hire a hacker, it might be a little bit easier to embezzle from your own company. So corporate people do all kinds of illegal and wrong things. So I'm not surprised one way or the other. I remember when I first started my business, karate school, I opened up a business account and I set up a wholesale account with a particular supply store company. I won't say their name. They are a pretty big company. And I don't think, this was in their control. It wasn't really their fault entirely. But I noticed unauthorized transactions on my account for sporting wear. And they don't sell sporting wear. It was like college sporting wear, equipment and stuff like that. And basically what it was is the karate supply store, they got hacked or whatever, and people's credit card numbers got taken. So I'd go through a process with that. But yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Okay, so I've talked a lot. It's been about an hour. My bit rate's going up and down, as usual. So I can get some fiber internet or something. Let's play some Final Fantasy VIII. I know this is not a Final Fantasy favorite, but it's next in the series. I think we are heading in the direction of getting close towards the end. This is the only continent we haven't really been at yet. So when we do finish this game, the plan is to move on to Final Fantasy IX. We did finish Chrono Trigger a while back and moved on to Dragon Quest I. I thought that it was going to be relatively quick and we were close to the end, but there was a bunch of stuff I had forgotten about, and we'll have to work on that at the end of the week here. You didn't quite get an hour ranting in, though. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should start the stream closer to 8 o'clock so that, we could do like the just chatting portion and then get into the game at 9 o'clock. Maybe I should do something like that. Although sometimes I have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. Like this morning, I didn't get up until 7 o'clock. Friday, I was so tired, I didn't get up until 9 o'clock. I don't usually get up that late. But I still got a bunch of cleaning in, so, I mean, I guess I was okay. Sometimes you have nothing to say and get straight to the game. Well, that's true. It just depends on what's going on, and these past few days have been kind of crazy, we'll say. And this week might be kind of crazy depending on what happens. I'll definitely have to keep y'all posted on whether or not I have a job or not. If I don't have a job, maybe I'll stream more. I'll have more free time until I can find an alternative. I mean, technically speaking, job's not bad. You don't really deal with too many people on the weekend, which is probably a good thing. It's $15 an hour. The pay rate's not bad, but it's only 24 hours a week. So I get paid after taxes if I don't take any time off. You know, part-time people don't get that benefit. About $1,200 a month, which covers rent for a one-bedroom apartment without utilities, without groceries. They don't even like us taking lunch breaks, to be honest with you. And if we do take a lunch break, they kind of want us to be out of sight. It's kind of sad. You know, I'm a person, I'm an employee just like you. At least you get to leave on your lunch break. I'm not allowed to. If I get a call, I have to stop eating and go deal with the call. So I don't really get an actual break. I just eat whenever I get a chance. Without children. Yeah, I'm gonna be busy. That's the other concern I have a little bit. If I have to deal with some legal issues, and by some chance I am wrongly arrested and thrown in jail for a crime that never happened, I'll probably miss the birth of my child, which will create a serious problem for me. Because I don't want to miss the birth of my child. My family is the most important thing in the world to me. And if you threaten my family or cause problems for my family, I'm going to cause problems for you. So, yeah. Hopefully, that won't happen. No, you cannot live on $1,200 a month with kids. No. I have, let's see, family of 4 right now. We're paying probably going to average it out about $300 every 2 weeks on groceries. So $600 a month on groceries. So if I add another person, you know, the child born, we're now a family of 5, I probably should add another $100 to that. So $700 a month on groceries. Especially after the child gets old enough to start eating regular food and whatnot. But you still got to buy diapers and baby wipes. We're not doing formula and whatnot right now. And we kind of talked about making our own baby food. Why buy baby, food in a jar when all you need is a food processor or something? You can do it yourself. When I was a kid, I remember my mom telling me that when I was that little, they'd give me hot dogs. So I mean, why spend a fortune on baby food in a jar? Do it yourself. But then the clothes, they're constantly growing. But you don't have to buy name brand clothes. You can buy used clothes. We've bought clothes for the kids from Goodwill many times. Because the price of clothes has gone up. You walk through Walmart, and this particularly in the men's department. I walked by, there was a rack of pants. Over $20 for one pair of pants. You buy it, you wear it, maybe a month or two later, you start getting holes and tears, and it starts, stringing. Threads are coming out. And it's like, I remember when I was younger, we would buy clothes for less than that, and it would last at least a year. So I kind of have this suspicion, I have no idea for real, that they're selling knockoffs for higher rates, is basically what they're doing. Inflation. Well, I don't want to get into my political beliefs. We did that last week. So I'll just say inflation, especially what's going on now, I want to translate the word inflation to corporate greed. Because you can end inflation just like that. Really easy. You have how many corporations out there right now making profits of over $1 billion? Over $1 billion. Billions of dollars. And they're not paying taxes, or they're not paying the amount of taxes they should. They're getting tax breaks, et cetera. Bailouts. And they don't need it because they have money. We need it because we don't have money, you know? Just make them pay their fair share and we won't have inflation anymore. Problem solved. That's simple. But they're not going to do that. All right. Final Fantasy VIII. Let's play some Final Fantasy VIII. My headset went to sleep again. Guess that means I was talking too much, huh? All right. So before the stream, I kind of played a little bit while I was setting everything up and did a few fights because we have a new party member, Edea. She is at level 26, the weakest player at the moment. Okay, so we got a 44, 72. Wow, he has really jumped up there. 26, 37, 34, 31, 33. So she's the lowest level at the moment. They should at least started her, 30, 40, Yeah, Edea sucks. She's a sorceress, too. But anyways. So she's the weakest of everybody. And because she's just starting out, doesn't have much magic either. I've tried to give her some magic. That's kind of it. That's all she's really got. As far as Guardian forces, I gave her one. Siren, because everybody else has the others. So the issue with that is she's only got magic to put, to increase stats with. And then she's got these two. So she doesn't really have a good setup. She has no weapon. None. Okay? She just does some kind of magic strike thing. Shows how much you're over leveled. Game isn't about levels. No, it's not. Honestly, you don't know what it's about, but levels isn't it. Yeah, exactly. So the first fight I did with her off stream a little while ago, we ended up fighting a Marlboro. And I don't mean the cigarettes. He had the initiative. He got to strike first. And the first thing he did was Bad Breath. If you're familiar with Marlboro and Bad Breath, it's not a good thing. We had multiple status effects, including Sleep, Mute, Poison, Confused, and Berserk. So Quistis and Edea was asleep. Squall was awake, but he was confused. And he attacked Edea multiple times. Almost killed her. And then he got hit, and the confusion went bye-bye. But the issue was they were all berserk, which means I had no control of them at all. So they're just like randomly attacking the Marlboro for, well, Edea for like 100. Squall was like 100 because he has bio on his weapon. And apparently the Marlboro's strongest bio. Quistis for a few times hit him for like 300, but then she was blinded and was missing. Needless to say, we died. And I had absolutely no control. I had to pretty much put the controller down and just watch. I couldn't do anything. That's kind of sad, honestly, in my opinion. Especially when you have your main character is at level 72. That shouldn't happen at this point in the game. But it's all about how you junction, okay? I hit the wrong button. Okay, so this is Squall. Highest level, junction your magic, okay? You know what spell you use will raise your strength, your vitality, whatever SPR is. Spirit, maybe? You come over here, and then this is to, you know, if I attack, it's poison element on my weapon, which I need to really take off. Shell has raised the elemental defenses there. As you can see, it's raised it quite a bit. Ultima has raised it quite a bit. That's why his percents are up pretty high for everything. And then you have these here. Now, I don't have the attack yet, but I got 4 of these. And all this is raising defenses up on those status defenses. Asuna's raising up pretty much everything. That's supposed to help protect you from being put to sleep. That's supposed to help you from turning to stone. This is supposed to help protect you from blind. All right, maybe what I can do here, which, you know, it didn't help us when we got bad breath. We still had everything, you know, even though his percentages are up pretty high. We died because we had turned to stone. There was a timer above our head and it ran out and we turned to stone. That's how we actually died fighting Marlboro. Yeah, the Marlboro, yeah, it's like Final Fantasy Tactics. You know, you might not be a big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics, but you have 2 enemies in Final Fantasy Tactics. You have the story enemies, and then you have the random enemies you use to level up with, basically. Well, the random enemies, they level up with you, with your particular main character. The story people don't. So if you level up to level 99, the random monsters will be level 99, even if you have some other characters who are not, which sucks for them. And then you go to a story battle, you'll be 99 and they could be level 20. So it's kind of similar. I don't know if Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy VIII came out around the same time, and that's where this came from, maybe. It's one of the games I consider to be outside the franchise, which I could say the same for this one. I liked Final Fantasy Tactics, to be honest with you. I thought the story was interesting. I enjoyed the gameplay, but it did get frustrating at certain things. I didn't it's okay, but I'm not a huge fan of the Final Fantasy Tactics series for Game Boy Advance. The story's okay. I'm just not a huge fan. It's like a combination of Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy IX. Your gear determines your equipment, and lots of times you'll get equipment that is stronger than the other equipment, but you wear the weaker equipment just so you can get the ability. Not to mention you have it on a tiny screen. There was a story, the gameplay was okay, but it wasn't a Final Fantasy. The other Final Fantasies I don't consider part of the franchise is Mystic Quest. Yeah, I remember we talked about Mystic Quest. I like the games. Final Fantasy Tactics, the story is very political. You have this kingdom versus this kingdom, and they're trying to outdo each other. You even have people in your own military, government, whatever, that stabs you in the back or poisons you. Spoiler alert, your older brother poisoned and killed your father. But are they the actual enemies in the story? Only partially. The actual enemy at the very top or whatever is the church. Sorry, Christians. Of course, this is not necessarily the Christian religion. Okay, keep that in mind. The church, but it's not necessarily Christianity. I don't think it actually was. And so you had like materia, basically. And it gave you special powers, but it also turned you into a demon. And so the people in the church wanted those stones. Most of them had the stones and became demons and was basically trying to control the world kind of thing. And they wanted to summon the ultimate demon or something like that using your sister. Great game on its own, but it's not a Final Fantasy. I feel like the chat widget just doesn't show on this scene. Apparently not. It was kind of slow on the chatting scene. I might have to play around with that. I'm not entirely sure. Now, the one reason why I'll argue a little bit with Final Fantasy Tactics being a Final Fantasy is because, what was it? Final Fantasy 12? I think they did it with Final Fantasy 12. It's the same country. Final Fantasy Tactics, you're in Evilus, I think is how you say it. In Final Fantasy 12, you're also in Evilus. And they sort of put in the judges and stuff from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. But they're like the enemies. So they kind of took parts of Final Fantasy Tactics and put it into the numbered Final Fantasies. So the storyline's kind of in there as a Final Fantasy. It's a strategy RPG instead of a regular RPG, which most are becoming action-based RPGs anyways. You're losing the whole weight system. You don't like what we do here. It's, you push the button, swing the sword, push a button, cast a spell. There's no menu in battle really much anymore, which is unfortunate. Although they have released a few games recently that are kind of old school, like what we're playing. My sister bought me a game recently on Steam. What is it called? Chained Echoes or something like that. It's relatively new, and it has that weight old school system, the retro style. Even the animation is kind of retro. There's a gaming company. They sell a lot of games on PlayStation as well as Steam called Kemco, Aemco. And they make a lot of retro style RPGs. I've got some of their games and they're pretty good. But they're more, I guess you would consider them like generic brands in a sense. It's not like Squaresoft or Square Enix or, some of the bigger gaming companies. But if you like retro style games and you want to play newer retro style games, check out Kemco, because they're one of very few companies that are still making that retro style. So we need a Marlboro tentacle, back to the game, to upgrade a weapon, but we have to be able to defeat it first. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that with his bad breath. Luck, maybe. I don't know if Reflect will work with bad breath. If we cast Carbuncle, I don't know if it would reflect it or not. And it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to use bad breath. I wish we could equip ribbons. That would be a very good solution. But unfortunately, in this game, you don't equip armor. You don't equip weapons either. You just upgrade them. So, I could attempt to, switch one of these with... Do I have Berserk? I don't even have Berserk. Because Berserk means I can't control you. or control them. But, you know, regardless, I mean, I got break, we still turned to stone. I got blind, we were still blinded. So it didn't really protect us any. So many things to hate, yeah. You know, there's certain parts of the game that I like. Okay? The story's okay despite the fact that they're all from the same orphanage. I found that kind of stupid. Like, they couldn't come up with something better. I like the cars. That's a nice feature, but you don't use it enough, in my opinion. You know, you can rent a car, and then you get the garden, and there's really no point in having a car anymore. It would have been nicer if they allowed you to drive the car onto the garden, because you have a parking garage that you never use, and then you can use the car on other continents where a car can be. Any GF ability to protect statuses. So the GFs will give you like elemental attack and defense. Okay, so you can increase your defense towards elements. Some of them have, apparently not this one. I didn't want to do that. Elemental defense. All right, so this is status defense. Okay, and she's working on status defense 2 times, so you'll get 2 options. Okay, so if you have status defense or status attack, that then gives you this option here, where you can put magic here. So I put Berserk on her earlier today to increase her defense against Berserk, but it's only 23%. Now, if I get more Berserks, and I'm not sure how much it will take, but if I get more Berserks, that number will probably increase some. I gotta draw more Berserks, and it might increase some. So this will protect her from being Berserked, potentially. No guarantee. Her attack is supposed to drain hit points from her enemy, but she's only got 3 drains, so it's kind of weak. I don't know if silence will work for bad breath, because it might be an ability and not a spell. It's 1% Berserk, yeah. So, I mean, we could put, because Drain didn't really take much hit points off her enemy. It was like 5 points. I'm like, it's a waste of time. But we'll put silence on. I don't think she can silence a Marlboro, though. Which I think her strength is mostly going to be in magic. She's a sorceress, right? She just doesn't have a lot of magic. So I think the other thing that we're going to have to probably do at this point, as the GFs are being completed, well, no, that's not going to work. I was going to say we junction them with other people, but then if I like, for example, Shiba, good example. She's complete 100%. She can't learn anything else. But if I junction her to somebody else to give them these abilities, so to speak, then Squall will lose those abilities. He don't keep them. That's the issue with this particular game. If he was to keep them, then I could pass her on to another player, and then they could learn those and be able to do those. That's the downfall with this game. There's no permanent abilities in this game. And everything is focused on your guardian forces. The one thing I might have to do is I might at some point have to leave and try to level Edea up and get her more magic. We don't have too much problem with these things. It's just the Marbro that is really giving us a hard time. So I'm kind of trying to draw the magic, because the more the bigger amount that they have, the higher that stat will be if they're equipped to it. No, I didn't want to stock it. My finger was too quick. Let's heal Squall. Alright. We're summoning Leviathan, but we're going to speed it up as we're trying to level up. That's a nice function. You know, if I can't skip it, at least I can speed it up. Now, see, the downfall with fighting them is I only get 90 experience points. And a mesmerize card. Now, the other thing we can do, which, you know, takes some time in the menu, is we have these abilities that we got from the Guardian Forces, where you can refine the lightning and wind magic from items. Like these. The one will give me thunders, but thunder is weak. We don't really want thunders. We want more thundagas. That's the strongest. I don't think I need wizard stones for anything. We're gonna give it to Edea. I could give her 100. I can't go any further than that. We could do ice magic. Basically using the same things. I'm not sure if I'm going to need the water crystals or the north wind. We'll stick with the wizard stones. Do fire magic, which, you know, I'm almost... Phoenix Pinion will give you 100. What does a Phoenix Pinion do anyways? And used in battle, ... Maybe we should use it in battle and find out what happens. Is that how you get Phoenix? Ooh, flare. We'll do one. Holy water gives me zombies. I don't need zombies. I don't want to use my tents or cottages. Healing mail. Ragos. Curas. Life. Gives you regen. Death. Zombies. Curas. Deaths. Deaths. We can get Kiraga from the horse things we're fighting. Refine status magic for an item. From an item. Let's see. This will give you bio, breaks, blind, silences. That gives you berserks. Okay, so what we could potentially do is we could buy a ton of these with the fortunes we're making by walking, and then convert them into magic to try to increase our status defense for those who can do so. I guess we could do Twistus, Ball, Belt, since we're currently using them. Alright, then we got find support magic from an item. That will give us Isunas. Alright, he's got 100. Dispel, Asuna, protects. Find recovery medicine for an item. Mega potion, high potions. about that. Eye drops. Worry about that. Ooh. Aura stone. Shell stones. Hex stones. Not exactly sure what some of that stuff does. Find mid-level magic from other magic. Apparently we can't do it. I don't. Not highlighted for anything. Find items from cards. We are going to need some star fragments, so we're going to have to fight the Iron Giant here sooner or later. Not sure what lightweights does. Yeah, I was hoping that we had the ability to, like, for example, here, he's got Cura, to be able to make it Curaga. You know, turn them into a certain amount of Curagas. Alright, now we're gonna have to go back and go through the junctioning of magic. See if there's any that's stronger. Of course, I could always use the cheat system and make all the magic they have 100. Max level. Not exactly sure what spirit does. Alright, so life raises the first 4, but does nothing for the back 4. Protect raises the first 3. So if I was to put Bio on there, would drop the first 3 from 21 to 13, but raise protection against poison up to 64, which would be good with because bad breath does cast poison. He doesn't really use fire, ice, or lightning. We'll keep life because life does raise some. We got nothing there. If it's in the game, it's not cheating. They provide both the rules and the means to break them. The rules become invalid. Well, we'll do that as a last resort. Put Kuraga there. They probably needed to give people all the inspiration they could just finish the game. Yeah. All right, we're going to take bio off because Marlboro's weak is strong against poison, so it wouldn't make sense to have that. But he doesn't have a lot of magic. He'd possibly do fire. He's a plant, right? Let's put fear on that, which means I'm going to have to change the strength. Potentially do 78, 62. 2, 6. Up there. Alright, so he'll attack with fire. Shell. Raises things up to 19%. Ultima raises things up 20%, which gives us 39%, which is pretty decent. 20, 19. But if I switch bio, that like gives it a star, which I think is supposed to be pretty good. So he'd be very strong against poison, but the other stuff's gonna drop. Now over here, Suna raises those 3 things decently. Sleep just raises sleep. Break just break, and blind just blind. All right, so we're going to have to decide which ones are the most important. Sleep, we can wake up by getting hit. But we don't want to be berserked because then we don't have control. Okay. Break, we definitely don't want to turn into stone because that's just like instant death. Although it didn't really help us any last time we fought it. Blind makes it hard to attack, but it's not 100%. You can still hit every now and then. But at the same time, we really don't want to be confused, because then we'll hurt each other. He doesn't really use magic. He uses physical attack and drawing, so I'm not too concerned about silence. We can use an item to cure that. So I think we're going to switch blind to confuse. I think these 3 are probably the best we can do at the moment. Now, let's see. Edea. All right, so we got 69. So far as the highest. We could do a Suna would raise everything else, but then would not protect you from berserk. I don't think there's an item, maybe Remedy or Asuna or Dispel would help with Berserk. We don't really want to be Berserk either. And we don't want to use Bio because he's strong against poison. Sleep wouldn't be a bad idea. I doubt we could confuse him. And who would he hit by himself besides himself, right? Potentially turn him to stone. I don't know if we can turn him to stone, but that would be nice. Probably gonna be using more magic anyways. I think that's the best that we can do at the moment. All right, shall we see how we do if we get attacked by another one? Well, that's not a Marlboro. We can beat this thing. Oh, he broke his horn. All right, let's see if she can turn him to stone or something. That's a no. Now, technically speaking, I don't have to use Edea. I could put somebody else in the lineup and not even worry about it. But I mean, come on. She was your enemy. Well, she was your caretaker, and then she was your enemy, and now she's your friend. Wouldn't it be nice to use her for a little bit? The thing is, she has no weapon at all, so I can't even upgrade her weapon. There's nothing to upgrade. Is there an inn or something at the train station? This here used to be quite a station in itself. I'm gonna say no. There he is. I did need to technically steal from it. Unless he gives it to me at the end of battle. That was a nice hit. What was that? It's like 18,000 right there. He's going to use it and we're all going to be screwed. Yep. I can't tell if Squall is berserk though. It might be okay if we can get him to use items. She's berserked, so can't really do much with her. She's about to die anyways. All right. Oh, she actually hit him. That's just bullshit. I'm sorry. Should not be allowed. They should, if they're going to have enemies beat this overpowered, they should limit it to maybe once or twice a battle, and that's it. Should only be able to use that ability once or twice. And this would be the second time. See, now I got an issue because they're all berserk, so I have no control over them. I can't use items, nothing. Even if they are not confused or asleep anymore, I can't control them, so the battle is lost, basically. It'd be nice if we could do that to them. I mean, if they're supposed to be the same level as us, why can't we do that to them? Or have it to where the status ailment only lasts a certain period of time and it wears off. As Berserk, it doesn't wear off. It stays until the end of battle, or you die. That was a good hit for being blind. Although you're going to die soon. We're all going to turn to stone in 7 seconds. How many hit points does he got? He already lost over 18,000. That was his last chance. Basically almost impossible to beat him with his bad breath. Almost impossible to beat him. And I would not be surprised if he is stronger than the actual final boss, which makes no sense. All right, so we got cheats and we got boosts. Boosts, HP consistently restored to full, limit breaks always available. You could do that. You could do no encounters at all. And then speed boost, which is basically what we're using. That would be beneficial. Cheats, we have all items. All abilities, that's the GFs would have all the abilities that they're currently leveling up. But this is going to override abilities that we got from items, so that wouldn't be a good thing. We can make our GFs at max level. We can have max gil, don't really need that. This would make all our magic to 100. Which then will boost your stats a little bit. Obtain all limit breaks and the related items. Then you can have all the cards. Doesn't apply to some rare cards. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to save. Save both spots. Then maybe we'll cheat a little bit so we can get the Marlboro. All right, we're gonna max the magic. Can undo these changes once applied. You also cannot unlock achievements with this save. Proceed. I don't really care about achievements. All right, then we're gonna go to boost. All right, let's try it now. And we got a little symbol on the screen. You see it? See, our magic is all at 100 now. Which is why our hit points is a little bit higher. And now we can probably boost our stats again. Let's see here. Player gives us 7,000 hit points. I don't know. I partially think it's actually kind of fair to do it since the enemies are leveling up so much higher as we're leveling up. It's like they're doubling us. Know what I mean? Just means I don't have to draw it 100 times. It's up to 30% and bio's up to 80%. See, she doesn't have all the magic in the game. The only thing that's up to 100 is the magic that she currently had. And they're all starred. They're all starred. I probably should just leave that alone. Dirk's at 100%. Break's at 100%. Use that is at 100%. Alright, we're gonna save on the bottom one. Let's see if that makes any difference. I also got hit points that like restores every turn or something like that. Let's see how it works. Never used it before. We can also do oh, Odin's gonna kill them. Where were you with the Marlboro? Could have used him with the Marlboro. I can use blue magic. Let's see. Let's use a Gatling gun. What is Edea's sorcery? Ice strike. Not bad. I didn't see what it hit it for. All right, so we're going to turn this function off after we beat the Marlboro. Because we pretty much constantly get a turn. That raises it to 25. We don't really want. We want 100. So let's put confused on there, so she won't be berserked or confused. The only one we should worry about with confusion would be Quistis. We'll get a Marlboro eventually. Come on, we want the plant. The weed. It's the horse. Come on now. At least we get to try her limit breaks out. We don't really get to do that much. Blue magic. Woohoo. I guess we'll try the death. Well, that didn't work. Try this one. I guess it's like instant death almost. Interesting. Aqua breath. That's been in a lot of Final Fantasies. Alright, let's see. We picked up a ring. DF learns HP plus 20 ability. Do I have any that doesn't have that ability? That's GF. That's not people. So, let's see. She's got it. He doesn't. He doesn't. She could possibly use it. Because she's got hardly any. So let's, and we got 2 of these, so. Use it on Siren. Can't learn any more abilities. Why not? All right, so he got it. Why can't Siren learn? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's different than HPJ, never mind. But it does make your hit points go up. Have it. He already has the HP abilities. So does he. So does he. Some of them don't have all that, so I guess that's what the issue is. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use it on... I'm gonna go Junction, Quistis. Oh, wait a minute. I should have done that. No, she still has these two. But she lost this. Give her both. How about that? It means Quistis will have lost. Yeah, that'd be good. Don't really need draw if we're cheating, right? Because we got max magic, but we would need to draw new magic. We would need it for that. Try that. All right. Come on, Marlboro. Come on, it's 11:15. At least let me have the Marlboro, beat the Marlboro this time around, you know? See, I've done the missiles before. Acid. See if we can find one that... Well, that's all we have. So, do acid. Oh, that's the ability she used on Squall. They don't want to give me the Marlboro no more. He's afraid. You'll smoke him. Yeah, now that I'm boosted up here. The horses. Lord. They have a lot of mesmerized blades, huh? Watching it and fast forward. Kind of a rush, ain't it? Oh, I mean, I guess we don't have to worry about it. Odin's got it. This is something completely different. You kind of used to watch things faster after a few months of, yeah. Well, I'm mainly doing it because I'm trying to get to the Marlboro and not deal with this other crap. Oops. I don't see a city. Looks like we are in for a long trip. Everything will be alright. We'll be by your side all the way. Thank you, Zell, but remember, you must stay alert even in my presence. As long as I can be myself, everything will be fine. But if Ultimacia gets inside me again, you all know what to do. What, did I miss something? Oh, it's so quiet. The air is getting heavy. What's wrong? Come on, we're all together again. We're gonna bring back Rinoa. It's like a picnic. We're gonna have fun. Somebody once told me that if you mention bad things, they'll come true. Oh, it's a silly superstition, but right now I want to believe it. So let's not talk about it anymore. Marlboro! It's not a Marlboro, that's a horse. Lord have mercy. What happened to him? Where in the world is he? I like that. Remember Marlboro always hanging out in swamps and forests, yeah. Well, I've got attacked by him three times so far in this area. Yeah, we're on Esther. Oh, Lord. Oh, Final Fantasy Squall, even on fast forward, that was uncalled for. For F's sake, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't I didn't even notice. Who just got that junction? He did. All right. Frog it is. Marlboro, here, Marlboro. There you are. All right, first we want a mug. Then we want to use this. We want to use that. Maybe I shouldn't have used water on a plant. So much for having it all maxed out. Wow. I think she does have death on her weapon. Her no weapon, I guess I should say. Her hit points are being healed every turn. And the break counter is not going down. This might be never ending, guys. Because he's not really attacking and she's being healed and the counter is not moving. So it's all dependent on how much she hits him. Might take a while, but he could eventually die. I'll have to keep it on speed here. Shame there wasn't like a cheat or a boost that prevents status effects. Of course, you know, the weakest character is the one that's hitting him, right? I mean, eventually they gotta wake up, right? Can't sleep forever. This is kind of funny, actually. One way or the other, I'm getting Marlboro tentacles. It might take a couple hours. Now we got two hitting them. Oh my lord. You think Squall would wake up sooner or later? The longest I've seen somebody sleep. They finally killed him. Your tent help? Yeah. He's maxed out. He's almost maxed out. Got a little bit to go yet. Let's do... Alright, so we got what we wanted from the Marlboro. So I'm going to turn the boost off for this battle assist thing where I'm constantly being healed. And it's constantly my turn and whatnot. But I'm going to keep the cheat on for the max magic. That way I'm not constantly having to draw magic all the time. Now, according to my list, I got the Marlboro tentacles. I need 2 star fragments yet. And I need energy crystals from the behemoth. And sharp spikes I think I might have. So I got 2 things that I need left from this area. Alright. Dinosaurs? Dragons, maybe? Watch Marlboro. The hell is that? The hell? I don't like this thing. Have a little taste of ultimate. See how Diablo works on them. We got him. He's kind of tough, wasn't he? We got all that. Let's do this one. All right. Get up there. He's back. Moment, it's just his head. I don't see any hands. Alright, she's completely learned everything. He should just be starting. How do I get up there? I don't see a way to get up there. What the hell? Boss fight. Something ugly. Well, an undead monster. Use recovery-related magic and items. I use life on it. Toss a phoenix down, yes! I'm trying to heal from it. I don't know what that is. Let's try Phoenix down. See what happens. Nothing. What about life magic? Nope. Okay, so that doesn't work. We can't revive them. We can only heal them. Ah. Alexandra, I think, is supposed to be holy. Got a power wrist. Okay. All right, Alexander, let's see how you do. Not very well. That was awful. We get him? I think we got him. He fell to pieces. All right. Oh, apparently we already had it. Well, that's unfortunate. There, we got paid. The hell? I don't know what that is. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's very important. All right, we are running out of time. We only got a few minutes left, and I don't want to get stuck in anything big. So that's all the time I got for today. Thank y'all for coming and watching. Hey, if y'all are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm usually live Monday through Thursday. We're playing Final Fantasy VIII Monday and Tuesday, Dragon Quest I on Wednesday and Thursday. So I'll be back live tomorrow. We're just going to continue right here where we left off and see what happens next. I hope y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.